Alright guys, so it's been a while since I've actually updated the PVE tier list. So here we go guys, we're going to update it for the release of Star Coral as well as Moonlight Cookie with the Crystal Jam for the month of August 2024. And I gotta say, I have dropped a lot of cookies down a tier just because of the release of new cookies and much of their irrelevance now inside of a lot of the different comps, because a lot of cookies are being focused towards the SS as well as S tiers. So here we go guys. Of course, this is going to be based on my opinion as well as my experience, and you know, a lot of cookies can still be used situationally, but a lot of these kind of, you know, tier that I put in is looked at it more of a general overall standpoint of the game in the PvE side. So here we go guys, let's start out with the of course stay away, and that is literally going to stay the same from Sonic all the way up to Pastry. Nothing really has changed for the stay away side. And of course, if they get a magic candy, maybe possibly they will become a bit better than what they are now. And then next one is going to be our C tier from Red Velvet all the way up to Sparkling, and this also really hasn't changed either. Of course, again, we'll see if a magic candy will make them a bit better. It really hasn't made Milk Cookie much better, so hopefully it's going to be better than what we have seen with Milk Cookie for the PvE side. And the next one is going to be the B tier. So the B tier also from Clotted Cream down to our Cherry Blossom really hasn't changed either here. I mean, these guys are going to be viable, but just not going to be something that you really want to use. And the reason why, they just lack relevance inside of what we have currently going on with most of the content. Because if you're really focusing on something like the Beasties or you know, something like hard mode, master mode, then you technically won't be using these cookies. Of course, you can make them work, you will just not use them later on, so not worth wasting your resources. All right, next one is gonna be A tier. So A tier has changed a bit because I have dropped a lot of S tier down to the A tier because, again, irrelevance. Now, starting out with Pitaya as well as Capsaicin, and you can see Strawberry Crepe in here as well, and all the way down to Black Lemonade and Caramel Arrow, and then down all the way to Rockstar as well as our Cotton Cookie. All right, so of course this is going to be based on my opinion, but I feel like Capsaicin, Pitaya, Strawberry Crepe, Black Lemonade as well as Caramel Arrow all the way down to Rockstar, these particular cookies that I've dropped from the S tier to the A tier, I just feel like they're great, but again, not used as much because of their irrelevance. The only one I guess I can kind of get by, and this is going to be open to discussion and you guys can let me know down in the comments below, is going to be Black Lemonade. Black Lemonade is great, has good buffs and things like that, but I feel like it's just really limited to certain different, like certain comps out there, and has to be used with certain cookies. And I just feel like overall in general, Black Lemonade does lack a bit of usage inside of the PvE section. So that's the only reason why I've actually brought down Black Lemonade. But besides that, I mean, all the other cookies have been in the A tier for a while. Again, you know, I wish to see Cotton as well as Eclair, one of the two most used cookie back in the days, come back possibly with the Magic Candy. But we'll see if that's going to be the case or not in the future. But as of right now, that is going to be the case for these cookies. A tier, viable, great in certain situations possibly, but again, not going to be used as much as something like the SS tier or the S tier in most of the content. And the last one we got before the SS tier as well as the S tier is going to be situational from the non-awakened Dark Cacao down to BTS. Of course, BTS is not going to be obtainable anymore, and that's the only reason why I've always going to leave it as situational. If you have it and you're a returning player, then you can still use BTS as one of your safeguard. There are better options now with Snapdragon still being very, very good, as well as you know, Icicle Yeti being there. So you don't really need to use BTS if you're a returning player if you get those two. But again, BTS still viable if you're returning and want to use a safeguard. And then, you know, we have the Zap cookies from Dark Cacao down to like a Shining Glitter and Frill Jellyfish. And then we got Caramel Shoe, who is going to be more towards the beginning side of the play, where you do get a flat bonus of stats. Still, I think it's just very situational. We got Almond, Linking, very situational. I believe in the most of the content as well. We got attack speed up, attack up, healing reduction with pumpkin pie, and then herb for the purify if you need that. Of course, now we have more of a better treasure out there with, you know, monocles and things like that. So it's up to you to be using herb or not. And now then we're gonna go into the SS tier now, starting with our Dark Account Awakened version, and then we have Mystic Flower, we have Stormbringer, we have Crimson Coral still, and we're gonna have Elder Fairy, White Lily, Frost Queen, and then we're gonna have Black Pearl here. And I'm actually gonna be bringing up Sea Fairy here because of the buff. And then of course we still have Golden Cheese, Financier, Burnt Cheese, we have Rebel, we have Twizzy Gummy with the Magic Candy, we have Creme Brulee, we have Linzer, we have Cherry Blossom, we have Parfait with the Magic Candy, we have Cream Puff with the Magic Candy, we have our Snapdragon, our Icicle Yeti, Cream Ferret, as well as the new Star Coral. All right, so the ones that have actually been added to the SS tier is going to be our Sea Fairy with the buff that has decreased the, you know, cooldown by 1 second, as well as, you know, removed one extra you know, skill usage for the enhanced version of her skill, which is really good. And then you know, also increase the damage versus summoned units, which can be very useful sometimes inside of something like the World Exploration in stages like 18-30 against the Smoked Cheese. Some of the Smoked Cheese summon units can take extra damage from someone like Sea Fairy. And then we have Cream Ferret as well as someone like Star Coral. I believe Star Coral is a great support for you to use. The damage is actually really good for a support cookie inside of the actual World Exploration side of things. And also just the buffs are insane, very offensive. Same thing with Cream Ferret. Harder to kill as well, and the amount of buff that you're able to give to your cookies is actually really good. So those are going to be your SS tier. Again, I believe these cookies, of course the Epic Plus cookies, are going to be relatively just better in general just because of stats. And you know, even someone like Black Pearl and Golden Cheese are, in my opinion, still in the SS tier. Maybe Black Pearl could come down too, but the rally buff, the damage output just in general because of their stats and their skill is going to be enough to still have them cling on to the title of SS tier. All right, and some of them did drop, and I'm gonna tell you guys the reason why in the S tier as well. So starting with S tier, our Moonlight, even with the Crystal Gem, and I'll explain later. We have Hollowberry down here now. We have our Fettuccine down here. We have Cloud Hete, Milky Way, Wildberry with the Magic Candy, and then we have Dark Choco. We have our Stardust, our Sherbet, and our Black Raisin. We have Prune Juice, Captain Caviar, Blueberry Pie, Tartatan, Mango, as well as Pure Vanilla. All right, so I have brought down Fettuccine as well as Hollowberry down to the S tier. And honestly speaking, the reason why I have brought them down is because Hollowberry, while she is a great tank, she does take a lot of damage, which in certain cases like the Beasties doesn't really matter because of the fact that they have actually removed you losing a star in case your cookies die. That's not the case for World Exploration. That is not the case for other game modes. And that's the reason why I'm putting down Hollowberry S tier, because of that still star rating. And honestly speaking, Hollowberry does take a lot of damage from the damage you know, focus, and can die in many situations inside of the World Exploration. So that's the reason why, of course, again, they have removed some of those requirements of you keeping all your cookies alive, but still that is a big part of World Exploration. So I'm going to bring down Hollowberry now with, you know, still Dark Cow and someone like Stormbringer, our Crimson Coral, and Elder Fairy kind of still just being really good tank. We have Fettuccine, who's also a really good tank. We have Rebel sometimes is just enough with that, you know, decoy. So stuff like that. Hollowberry, again, not going to be super good for certain players as well. Fettuccine, same thing. Yeah, you have the, you know, unkillable invincibility, but very similar to something like Capsaicin, kind of dropping because of irrelevance. All right, and then we have Moonlight. I think this one we need to talk about. Moonlight has received a Crystal Gem, but inside of the World Exploration standpoint, while her debuff resist and stuff like that can be useful, still, her damage wise, for most player before it reaches something like plus 10 or even plus 20, you're gonna see a decrease in damage because the numbers actually have changed, and you don't have certain benefits that you actually had with basic skills, all right, when you do get the crystal gem. And something like, you know, the self-healing and things like that has also been removed. So that's the reason why inside of the PvE aspect of things, I still think Moonlight is going to stay an S, and that is a little sad because all the other legendaries are pretty much up in the SS. Maybe Black Pearl again might join. That you guys can let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, with the crystal gem still, I would say Moonlight Cookie is in the S tier, especially for most players, because you're not gonna have the crystal gem at plus 20, plus 30 as a free-to-play player or as a light spender at this time. All right, and for most players who are gonna be watching this and thinking about investing in Moonlight as well. So that is pretty much it, guys. Again, I dropped a lot of cookies a tier because of pretty much irrelevance inside of certain comps. But of course, you guys can let me know down in the comments below if you guys feel like anything needs to be changed. I am listening. I am reading the comments. If there is anything needed, I will adjust and I will discuss with you guys if possible. And that's pretty much it, guys. I will be updating on a lot of different things over the course of a couple of days, a few weeks. Hopefully I can get through a lot of them. I am going to be start posting more frequently. I have been taking a break a little bit, just with a lot of different things happening in my life. But thanks for watching. Thanks for always the support, guys. If you guys haven't checked out the reviews for Star Coral as well as Moonlight Crystal Gem, then please do so on the screen in front of you at this time. Thanks for watching.